So here's the operation. You can see the temperature there. This is saying it's right at 70. I've got my fridge running on DC, so I'm not using any propane. That's pulling, usually I see it around like 220 watts. And I've got the AC running. Now I'm going to switch to a screencast of the Victron app, and you'll see that we're charging the battery and we're running all the stuff off solar. So here we have the Victron app. It's showing that the panels are making 760 watts, and the shunt is showing that there's 1.6 amps going into the battery. Let's just jump into the shunt real quick here, and you'll see we got 47 watts going into the battery while running my air conditioner, keeping it at 70 degrees, and running the fridge off DC. Now, I don't normally run the fridge off DC. I just wanted to see what I could do with it here. So here's what 800 watts on the 16 dBs looks like. Initially, I kept my air conditioner on. Under this panel here, there was still an air conditioner. And so I had 700 panels all running in series. And this is the best way I could put 700 watts while leaving the air conditioner on. I later took off the air conditioner and added an 8th panel. The reason for that was I calculated the 7 panels at being 132 volts. Well, it was actually 160, and my solar charge controller could only take 150, so that was overvolting. I removed the air conditioner, added this 8th panel, and now I have these 4 panels in a 400 watt series at 90 volts, and these 4 panels in a 400 watt series at 90 volts, and then they're parallel down closer to the charger. So now this is producing 90 volts and closer to 10 amps of power instead of it was 160 volts and 5 amps of power. Had I known I was going to take off the air conditioner to put this 8th panel here, I would have just bought 2 400 watt hard panels. You could have done a lot less with a lot more, and you could have saved a lot more money, but hey, you live, you learn, right? Here we go. So this is my new setup. I've got the 2 batteries strapped on here. These are 2 24 volt 100 amp hour batteries from Fume. This is a 24 volt to 12 volt converter. That's my charge controller. The charge for the PV, the wires for the photovoltaic solar cells come from underneath the trailer. I ran those underneath, and then everything is strapped down nice and good. And this is what the external looks like. All I did was what I did last time, which is use U-bolts to put these on. My previous solar setup, the charge controller was out here and U-bolted on with angle iron. This has worked really good. I've done about 5,000 miles so far. These bungees are just for when I put a cover over this going down the road. I put a little bit of rubber on the back here, and you see this is where all the main lines come out. So I drilled a 3-inch hole here. Got your high pressure and low pressure lines coming into this. You've got the drainage line. These are the control lines I mentioned earlier. They turn the unit off and on and so forth. This actually provides power to the inside unit as well. And then this is running now into the breaker panel, and it's on its own 15 amp breaker. And that's what it looks like. So I did obviously drill through this, but I didn't do any drilling up front. So it's all good to go. I'm using the same charge controller I used last time, which is a Victron 15070. And I do have 400 watts of panels on the ground. This is similar to the setup I've always had, where I'm running 50 feet of cable on the ground. It used to be those 2 big panels that were big and heavy and cumbersome, and now it's these 4 super lightweight panels that are really easy to deal with. So 1,200 watts in total, 800 on the roof, 400 on the ground, completely independent. And the real big kicker is my dirt bike's electric, so I charge that now as well off solar, which is going to be super, super fun. One last thing, the solar panels come down and they all combine right here. So these 8 gauge cables are the ones that run inside. These are all 10 gauge cables, and I've got 3-in-1 combiner. When I'm not running these 2, this set and this set come off the roof, so that's a 400 watt parallel set or series setup. That's a 400 watt series setup. Then you parallel them, and this is for the last 400 watt series setup that go to my 50 feet of cable just on the ground. When these aren't being used, I have these that go in here. They'll cover them up and everything so they don't get gummed up going down the road. But I decided not to drill in for wire arrangement. I just used the tape that I used to fix the panels to the roof, which is that roofing tape. I'll get a picture of later. So let's go over this control switch and wiring. As you see, I have a 2,000 watt inverter, and there's a 30 amp wire, 10 gauge wire running into this control switch. And then there's 2 wires running out of the control switch. Well, it's actually only 1 wire running out of the control switch. There's a 2nd wire running in. So from behind this control panel, the mains distribution panel, there is a 30 amp line coming in for your shore power. I have connected that, and now that's the second line running into this switch. So there's only really one line running out of this switch. And what this does is, if I have it on number 2, it's the default shore power coming in that powers the distribution panel. If I have it on number 0, this switch is completely disconnected. And then if I have it on number 1, it's the inverter. So this way the inverter and the shore power there's never an opportunity for them to cross. I also have breakers over here. So I have a breaker for the 12-volt circuit, I have a breaker for the charging circuit, and then I have a breaker for the inverter itself. This is all on the 24-volt side. Since this inverter is wired into the main distribution panel, everything on this inverter is on a breaker. You might see this gray cable, wondering what that's from. Well, these are the lines that go out. There's a control line, and then a drainage line, and then a high pressure and low pressure copper line that go out for my new mini split. That gray wire is the power wire. So that comes in and around, follows that around, and goes back to the main distribution panel as well. And I took out my regular AC and just stuffed it full of, it's an insulative layer you put in most 14x14 vents. So this took the place on the breaker board on the distribution panel of the old AC, which runs out to the new mini split. And I'll have a video of that out there later. This is the new mini split. It consumes between 200 and 300 watts when you have it in a specific mode. And the copper cables for that are hidden in here. I did not resize everything. I do need to put a little bit more insulation there, but they fit in here. I lost that storage space, and they go in that PVC and down. The only purpose this serves is there's some bolts in that PVC to make sure that that doesn't go anywhere and travel. And then that PVC just connects those lines from the mattress, etc., or from my speaker bouncing around. So far, it's been really great, and this AC in the proper mode uses between 200 and 300 watts. It does a way better job of keeping the place cool. Right now, it's in the low power mode, maintaining 72 degrees with no issue whatsoever. Of course, I am running on shore power right now. I'm doing a little bit of fine tuning on getting these batteries stable, but this is my new setup, and I love it. I will never go back.